That's for
It's
sure.
going to be over at halftime. Wow. We're fine.
Just like all those games were over at halftime last week.
Hello world and welcome back to Gridiron Gamble, the only podcast that puts its money where its mouth is. I'm your host, Rich Ryan, and I'm joined by the entire collective, the Disciple, Brett Colson, Donnie, DP Peters, and the resident moose himself, Mo Nuwwarah. Listeners, if you haven't already, subscribe on your podcatcher of choice, Spotify, Apple, Pocket Casts, what have you. Viewers, go ahead and subscribe to the Lines US YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Throw us a comment. What's your favorite bet this week? You know, maybe we'll sprinkle in a t-shirt or something. I know Brett was trying to throw away hoodies like it was candy on the week 1 episode. So let's get some engagement going and perhaps we can give some swag away. Salute to the patrons in Discord, patreon.com/Gridiron Gamble to chat with us every day of the week, but specifically on Sunday and during an island game like this where the collective is sweating one of their 2 survivor selections. That's right. We have the Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. My fingers are as crossed tightly as possible during this contest. Thursday Night Football, division game. Brett, I see you shaking your head.
Because now I have to actually pay attention to this game. I wasn't even going to watch this game tonight. And now we're going to be sweating it until I was going to go to bed early. Come on.
Mo and Donnie coming to us from poker tournaments. Donnie covering one for Poker Go. Mo playing in one, currently on dinner break. No, he's not in the red light district currently. He just scarfed down a hot dog and is ready to grind some poker at the shoe. So Mo, since we only have you for a limited amount of time, we're going to jump right into it and get your pick for the week. Give us number 1, pinned to the top, most confidence points for Mo Nuwwarah for week 3 of the NFL season.
Brett already knows that I love the Ravens. I like the Ravens at -3, so I guess I really love them at -2.5.
Dare to be square, pick of the week from Mo Nuwwarah. Mo, this is the week where so many morons are going to wake up on Sunday morning. Do I have that account? Do I still have money in there? How do I upload into it? And they're going to fire so many of these short road favorites, and you're lining up with them to click the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't think it's like that. This isn't that bad. The Ravens just lost in front of everybody, the most embarrassing collapse of the season, and the Patriots just won.
I don't think that's being really accounted for in this market. This isn't off the look ahead at all, right? It was look ahead 3, open 3. I mean, Circa is predicting that it's going to come off the 3 and go to 2.5. So I don't think there's very much value in the number off of Pinnacle.
I wish this was 3, dude. The Ravens, aren't they way better than the Patriots? I mean, we've been saying how bad the Steelers are. The Patriots were in a dogfight with them last week, and I just don't believe the Patriots can do what the Dolphins just did to them. I mean, they don't have the receivers. I don't know, man. And then Marlon Humphrey is practicing. It all looks good for the Ravens on the practice report. I don't know, man. I'm stunned this line is coming off 3, but I guess you guys can tell me why I'm wrong. I'm listening. I kind of like my other picks. If you guys want contest plays, let me know.
Well, there's Sia, Mo. Great appearance. That was as turbo as it gets. In and out. Got it done. Still grinning like an idiot. Okay, now he's gone. There's one eye in New England Patriots, boys and girls, and it's going to be a common theme this week. And that I stands for a loom. Brett, I see you smiling. I see you grinning. I see you agreeing with Mo. But isn't every dope in this contest going to be on the Ravens? I hate this pick.
I know, but that's the only reason not to click the Ravens here, is that they are going to be the number 1 play in the contest, for sure.
And a loom. Don't forget a loom.
Why a loom?
I mean,
this is the loom spot of the week.
Look, there's money coming in on the Patriots to move it off of the key number of 3. That's all you need to know. There are shady offshores. There is Bitcoin being transacted on the New England Patriots right now. Why else would it move off 3 other than a loom? There's no other reason for it.
The Ravens' injuries, probably.
Didn't we?
I don't know.
They had a clean report here on Thursday, though. They're 2 DNPs of Duvernay.
Well, it moved yesterday, though, right? So it moved to 2.5 yesterday.
That's true. The Duvernay and Humphrey came off of the DNP today. Although concussion, I don't know what the NFL is doing now with practice reports. They used to always LP you with the concussion, and I've said this so many times on this podcast, and it sounds very crass, but concussions are injuries that are better for capping because you can just come out of concussion protocol, whereas like soft tissue, groin, hamstring, that's going to linger. It's harder to cap for. Concussion, it's just black or white, right? Like you get out of protocol, you play, and it's assumed that you're at full health. I mean, it's a terrible thing, but we just assume you're back to playing pro football at 100%. DP, where were you at on this? Your favorite team in the NFL, the New England Patriots. But you were low on it.
Yeah, second to last pick. I mean, a couple of things here. One, I feel like this is going to be really popular. You guys are like, you need to learn, you need to get better, and then I take what I think is a popular pick and put it at the bottom, and Mo just slams it as the number one pick, just flying off the handle there. So,
I'm with you. This is a split game, so I'm with you, pal.
Something gives me a little concern in terms of where I was at with the Patriots and coming around sooner. And the biggest thing coming into it was the offense and largely the coaching staff. Well, last game, the Patriots pulled the assistant offensive line coordinator out of the box up top and put him on the field so he could coach the offensive line. And
what a novel concept!
And then
Matt Patricia isn't coaching.
And then Matt Patricia could actually coach the offense. And also, Bill Belichick was very much more involved with the offense in the last game. And if you even watched that game against the Steelers, there was a play to, I believe it was Deontay Johnson, where he was short on a 3rd and long, and the Patriots didn't throw the red flag because Bill Belichick was too busy talking to Mac Jones. Okay, so I think times are changing sooner rather than later, which gives me a little bit of concern because if Bill Belichick does have anything left, why can't he make it happen at some point? That said, I mean, the Ravens should be the right side here. They are the better team. I don't know how this team for New England gets the ball moving, gets anything done. So yeah, I mean, but it's kind of a scary pick because I think it's going to be popular. I mean, I agree with you guys there. So yeah.
I misspoke. This is not a split game.
Oh.
I'm a lone wolf on the New England Patriots. It's based solely on a loom. And it was, I mean, there's zero football analysis for me. I am just watching the market.
This is definitely a week where you can say based solely on a loom for like 7 games, I feel like.
I mean, on neutral, where they could play on the moon. Of course, the Ravens are a much better football team. I think it's fair to say Harbaugh's a much better coach at this standpoint. Better coach, better quarterback, better team, better scheme, better roster. Then why is the market acting like this? I don't know. Well, I just have to bow to the market and respect it. And this is going to be a not fun game to sweat on Sunday. That's for sure.
It's going to be over at halftime. Wow. We're fine.
Just like all those games were over at halftime last week. All 4 or 5 of them.
Brett tried to pull the trigger on the hot take and immediately threw it in reverse.
Yeah, Ravens game was over at halftime last week too.
Let's start with the split games proper then. And whoever Mo is siding with, they'll have to carry the shield alone on this one. And we'll start with my beloved. They play host to the Cincinnati Bengals, a Bengals team that is coming off of 2 straight losses as massive favorites. And once again, they are big favorites on the road. Laying 6 in Circa. This open 6, moved to 4 when there was a big release on the home dog, but then there's been some buyback ever since. DP, you are the highest, and you're the highest on my Jets. I love to see it. Go ahead. Mo's with you, so you have to hold the shield here. Why do you love the Jets?
It's mostly that I'm just really ridiculously low on the Bengals at this point. I think this offensive line is just a really bad shape overall. I mean, I know they supposedly addressed it in the offseason, but it does not look like whatever they tried to do is working whatsoever. I continue to be out. I talked about it on the recap pod that every single week on Zach Taylor. I don't think he's just has the tools to be that good of a head coach. And then you couple that with the fact that one of the things they need to do is fix his offensive line. Well, I don't think Zach Taylor and this coaching staff is really the guys that are going to be able to do it. So I'm low on them. I think the Jets can be feisty. They can get after Joe Burrow, who hasn't looked good. And if you put pressure on him this year, it looks like he's just going to start coughing up the ball, and that looks really bad. The Bengals have given off 13 sacks, 7 in the first week, 6 in the last week. I expect the Jets to get after them, cause a lot of problems for Cincinnati on offense. And then listen, I know Joe Flacco's a statue. I know he's 85 years old. I get it. But just go back there and throw the ball 40 times a game again and let's go. Put the ball in the hands of these young receivers. Put up some points. I think the back door is for sure going to be open in this spot. Make it happen. Let's go.
If Flacco throws the ball 40 times in this game, the Jets have lost by multiple touchdowns. I can promise you that.
How many times did he throw last week?
He throws the ball 40 times every game. What are you talking about?
And they should have lost by 2 touchdowns. They literally hit a 0.1% equity shot to win that game. Man, I started the week so optimistic, and I was looking at this Bengals offensive line, and I was licking my lips, and then just the more I looked at this matchup, I'm very worried about the Jets defense. I just haven't seen it yet from these guys up front. Lawson, obviously, post-Achilles. I don't know if he's 100% yet. This is kind of rule of circled for him, though, against the Bengals team that did not pay him 2 years ago. But can he get there and finish? I mean, this should be a plus matchup for the Jets because, as Donnie noted, while on paper this Bengals offensive line entered the season looking good, it hasn't lived up to that bill just yet. But the fear is in the secondary for me. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner are pasted to their boundaries. DJ Reed to the left and Sauce Gardner to the right. And whenever Amari Cooper was moved inside last week, there was no answer for it. The dude was just running free in the secondary. So what happens if Zach Taylor wisens up and that's Jamar Chase in the slot? I mean, he can go for 200 yards in this game. Brett, this is just the get right spots of all get right spots. Circled for the team as well, losing in New York last year to Mike White, and then they just can't finish 0-3. They can't start 0-3, Brett. This is
we laugh at the must win early in the season, but come on, like if the Bengals lose this game, they're in serious trouble. They are in serious trouble.
I mean, this is supposed to be the easy part of the season.
Yeah.
That's what we said about the Bengals.
Disaster.
That's what we said about the Colts on the recap pod. This is supposed to be the easiest part of the season.
Yeah, and why have the Bengals struggled the first 2 weeks? Because they have not protected Joe Burrow. What I have seen from the Jets to this point, they cannot get after the quarterback. They're among the worst at generating pressure. So yeah, this is the rebound spot for the Bengals offense.
And the two guys that did it are game wreckers among game wreckers, TJ Watt and Micah Parsons. There is not one of those players on the New York Jets. So Brett had the Bengals in the middle. I was low. So not a lot of resistance, not a lot of support for Cincy, but I'm definitely scared to be on the Jets this week. Let's get to a team that Brett is high on, and that is, I can't believe it, Brett. Coming into the season, flat out said Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback. He's seen enough. Put him on the bench. And now he's all in on Trevor and them boys, traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who is looking like he's going to play based off this -7 that Circa hung in the contest. Look ahead was 9, so the smallest of hedges, but it would be a much larger downgrade if Chase Daniel was indeed predicted to be the quarterback for the Chargers in this spot. Brett, talk about Trevor Lawrence.
A lot has happened since this open 9 or 9.5 on the look ahead last week. So I think you can throw that one away. Look, the Jags, I've been looking at this roster a lot this week. This is the blueprint I look for in elite teams. They have a strong pass rush, which they have flexed with Allen and Walker through the first 2 weeks. They have an offensive line that's protecting their quarterback. They've only allowed 1 sack so far this season. I think they only allowed like 2 or 3 hurries last week. And a quarterback, still a wait and see, but pedigree with an extremely high ceiling. Lawrence probably had his best game of his career last week. He looked shaky in week 1, but rebounded last week. This week is a test for sure against this Chargers defense, but I think Jacksonville is going to keep this close by winning on the defensive side of the ball. This Chargers offensive line is in shambles, and it's that reason why Justin Herbert is battling a rib injury. Like, that injury happened after the Chargers lost their 2 offensive linemen last week. And, Herbert questionable for this game. What's going to happen if Herbert does play and he gets hit 3, 4, 5 times in this first quarter? And why wouldn't he? Given the matchups we're seeing here in the trenches. I said before the season, the reason I love the Chargers is because they finally have a semblance of a good offensive line, but that's already in question now. Lindsley likely out this week, has not practiced. Pipkins might play, limited in practice on Thursday. Then you got Keenan Allen, who's questionable. I think this is another money line spot for the Jags, man. How is it different than last week?
I mean, he said, I didn't know if I wanted to reveal this. Touchdown brownies, by the way. Let's go. I didn't know if I wanted to reveal this to the public because this was a personal message sent directly to me from Bert Minotti, the disciple, the God. He said, what if they're better? And I thought it was a joke.
No,
what
this
if they're
week,
better? What are you talking about?
Of course they weren't better like 2 weeks ago, but I'm talking about with the injuries the Chargers are dealing with this week, including at quarterback. These are key positions, wide receiver, offensive line. Those are the 3 important positions facing a pass rush that looks pretty ferocious. I think that's
not as bad as the Colts were last week, and Herbert will be so jacked up on whatever meds the NFL is going to pump into his body. Will be good to go. The injury last week happened in the game. It's harder to get the meds in the game. Pre-game, though, shoot him up. Let's go.
So
why would they play him this week?
So, Donnie, what you're saying is Chargers first half is the bet of the week.
Yeah, Chargers first half is the bet. Let's go.
Jags get sneaked through the back door, so I guess everybody's happy. Speaking of the Chargers, I guess since we spoiled Browns off the top, Donnie and I have been conspiring since we're the only 2 Survivor people left. And Brett, you might not be happy to hear that it sounds like our second entry might be on the Bolts here.
What happens if Herbert is still questionable on Saturday? What do we do?
I think the Vikings are in play. I know why Donnie's afraid. Donnie is being very conservative with those Thanksgiving games, but I'm so ready after what happened last year with the Raiders. I'm so ready to YOLO Thanksgiving and just fire the other side of what I think will be the biggest leverage play if we get there. Because I just think it makes so much mathematical sense. Something Fezzik, bust out a pen and paper and figure it out. So I'm not as worried burning the Vikings, but DP,
I'm also worried about the Vikings this week, though. It's not.
He seems to be worried about the Lions too.
The Lions have a good offensive line and a good offense, and the Vikings secondary and defense overall doesn't look all that great. So, I mean, I know this is Jared Goff on the road, but he's on the road inside. Okay, it's not like he's going to Philly to play or something crazy. I could see the Vikings just, kind of slacking on defense and Goff and that offense getting after it. Goff and the offense has gotten after it every single week. I mean, so why should I believe otherwise at this point?
Against whom? The Eagles, who were already on the plane back to Philly, and against the Commanders. I wanted to love
the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense is comparable to those teams.
Not up front, though. I think the Vikings up front have a definite advantage over the Commanders.
Commanders.
Yeah. Not over the Eagles. No, I was not going to say
or
that.
The Lions. Yeah.
The Lions have a really good offensive line, for sure. And I still have a lot of questions about the skill at the boundary corner positions for the Vikings. But I don't think this Lions team is very good. I know Brett's on my side here, but I think the Lions have feasted on negative script in one game, and then just the Commanders commandering the second game. The Vikings go out. They blow the doors off the Packers. We're just 2 weeks removed from them wiping the floor. The first time Kevin O'Connell ever put on a head coaching set, he absolutely spanked the Green Bay Packers. And then they go to Philly, a tough environment, a team that is probably the best in the NFC by maybe even a decent margin if the Rams don't get their together for 60 minutes. Mark that. So I'm not going to take that away from the Vikings. I just think that's a great Eagles team that had great scheme too. They pressured up front and they played press man and they said beat us. And there were no answers from the Vikings. The Lions can't do that on defense, Brett. The Lions do not have the personnel to defend like the Eagles did.
That's one of the worst defenses in the NFL for sure. Plus, is the Kirk in primetime trend real yet?
It's a real thing.
It's so bad.
How could it not be a real thing? At what point do we just accept it? Trends. So this was the next split game, a very natural transition there. I snuck the Vikings into my top 5. I really like them this week. I think this is a spanking. Lions aren't good. They just have grit, whatever Brett said last week. They have grit and whatever the hell else they got.
They're better than I was giving them credit for. See, this is my white flag. I'm throwing it in. Like this is a legitimate this is a legitimate offense with a stout offensive line, and these are the positions that matter to me. So I can't deny it any longer. Like this is a team that's going to score points. So I think a backdoor is always in play, but this is just your standard stock high, stock low situation for the Vikings. So you just have to plug them in, I think.
Was Ben Johnson even featured on Hard Knocks? He's the only, literally, I think, the only non-ex player on this staff. And he's as sharp as the Devils. As Brett said, do we need to mark that?
Yes.
Like some of the concepts they run are awesome. Amon St. Brown is awesome. And they haven't even gotten Jamison Williams yet. So I will 100% agree. This offensive is frisky, but I don't know how this defense gets off the field. So all we need is a couple of Goff head scratchers to not keep pace. And I think the Vikes can do the damn thing here.
Can someone explain how this opened at 50 on the total? What were they doing?
Every game needs to start at 6. That's what we said in the Discord, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be so many points in this game.
Which is funny because the trend this year has been under, right? Not every team, but so many teams are playing this cover 2 shell that's keeping these scores low. Yeah, it's interesting to see that kind of switch here in 2022. Speaking of 2 under teams so far, Packers at Bucks. A lot of action in this game as well, so much so that this game is a pick'em in Circa now. Injuries affecting the Bucks' value, suspension as well with regards to Mike Evans. DP fading your boy Tom Brady, taking the Packers, taking the steam. Tell us why.
Well, let me start off by saying I'm not exactly sure how this game got up so high on my card, but it just ultimately ended up there with a lot of tinkering that I was doing with some of the other games. I mean, this Bucks team, man, are they like the biggest mystery in the NFL? I mean, they're 2-0. Everyone's like talking about them, like, so they have this graphic, right, of all the 2-0 teams, and then they're like, everyone's laughing at the Giants being in there. I mean, why aren't we laughing at the Bucks being in there? Have the Bucks been good? Like, have they done anything this year? Brady hasn't been good.
This is Brady's whole career. This is just coin. All this is coin.
This is an exceptional defense.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is good.
You say it's confusing. I think the Bucks are like the easiest cap in the NFL right now. Great defense, run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have to go with who right now I think is the better quarterback, and that's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm sorry. I can't back this Bucks team when I'm like watching them play, and I'm like, you're only winning because of what Rich just said. Coin Brady. Like, and how is any of that supposed to actually have some substance? The fact that you're winning because you're
20 years. I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, not if you ask me. You know I'm on the other side of that. For the large majority of Tom Brady's career, I think he's been great. That said, this season is ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I just think right now, and this is crazy to say, but the current iteration of the Bucks is the level that the Packers kind of want to reach, right? Don't the Packers want to be run first defense team as well? It's just, I don't think they're having as much success doing either as much as the Bucks are. I mean, I guess I can't say the Bucks rushing offense has been anything to write home about. But the Packers really struggled against the Vikes, and then, they did it against the Bears, but it's the Bears. So this is a tough one.
Listen, do you know what you just said? The Packers should be run first with the 2-time reigning MVP.
Yeah, but they've built their team.
I know,
run
I
first.
agree with you, but that's an insane thing to say.
Well, this is what happens.
Of course, it's insane.
That will never get old.
That's why every single NFL draft we think it's insane.
The receiver stat will never get old. I don't understand. It's not like he's Brady, right? It's not like he's Captain Checkdown. It's not like he's physically unable to make these throws.
No.
Can you imagine if these guys switched places? Can you imagine Rodgers throwing to Godwin, Julio, and Evans? Are you kidding me? It is so massively tilting.
Not this week, though, because there are literally no playmakers running routes this week. So I don't know who these offenses are. I don't know what to do with this game. Because, you would think the Bucs would want to run the football. This is a leaky Packers run defense, and it has been for years. But I think they've kind of invited that too in a way. So why wouldn't Green Bay just focus more on stopping the run in this game? Because who's Tom Brady throwing to? Who's winning routes for this Bucs team? I don't know how this game's going to play out.
And who's protecting Brady too on the other side of the ball? If they want to get frisky and expand and throw the ball a little bit, who's protecting? Bakhtiari, it's funny. They've been doing this thing where he'd been practicing on Wednesday and then DNPing the rest of the week, but it flipped this week where he DNP'd on Wednesday and he was actually limited today. So that's actually a positive trend for him. We'll see if he's back in the lineup. 2 more split games, Rams at Cardinals, and nobody that's currently here had a very strong opinion on this game at all. Mo nearly had the Cardinals entering his top 5, which is one of those things where, the Cardinals are one of those devil teams this week, right? Everybody is going to see the Rams giving, 3.5 points on the road after the Cardinals were a complete disaster and needed a 90-second 3-yard play in order to get to overtime against the Raiders, and then a lucky bounce, which they took back for a touchdown to win the game. But this is my very last game. I had absolutely no opinion whatsoever here. DP on the Rams side, you nearly had this in the middle of your pack. Do you have anything to say about Rams Cardinals?
I'm not I don't really care too much about this game. I just feel like the players that these teams are going to put on the field, the Rams are just the far superior unit. That's just where I am. We talked about it on the recap pod. This Cardinals team has no one that can get open on offense. I don't see it. I know I'm picking the Rams, and I think that's going to be the popular side, but I'm just not seeing it with the Cardinals.
I wonder how popular, though, now that people have gotten burned, at least last week, if they clicked Rams. But yeah, I guess both Rams and Bengals this week. How much are people going to lean on their priors, the fact that these two teams met for the Lombardi in February and are looking for their first cover of the year? The Bengals, obviously, their first win of the year. So, but very fascinated to see what the public does in this game. If I scroll to the ticket count right now, it's even right now, 53% actually favoring Arizona. So fascinating to see what it ends up being in the contest. Another one where, double bird battle here. I might as well hit it twice. The only reason, honest to God, why I didn't love Atlanta this week is I think it's going to be popular, and I think that's stupid. I think if people line up to take the Falcons, that would be dumb. But if there was a spot where not a lot of people were clicking the Falcons, I think that would actually be very interesting to me. Atlanta, obviously frisky last week, got the backdoor cover against LA, did the smart thing, stayed on the West Coast. They're training at UW this week, right there in the heart of downtown Seattle. So no worry about flying back and forth and getting that fatigue in there. And outside of the first couple of drives this season, what the hell have the Seattle Seahawks done in a football game? They've been a disaster. So the Falcons actually have a modern offense. They actually have pieces on defense too. Like Grady Jarrett's a dude. AJ Terrell's a dude. Casey Hayward is a dude. So I just think they're a better football team. But Brett, I've got no idea what people are going to... Is this going to be a popular pick?
I don't know. I mean, this opened Seahawks -2.5. Circa did a really good job with lines this week. Like early in this week, there were some obvious spots. I have Falcons +2.5 in my account, but yeah, Circa giving us a pick here. I don't know. I think this is pretty close, and the line's telling us that the Falcons are better, which I totally agree with. But I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could take the Falcons as a road favorite here. I think this is just two bad teams, and you take the home team as a pick.
You put your hat back on, Mr. Referee. This is not illegal touching. Put your hat back on. Don't touch your shoulders, damn it. God. Oh my God, he took 3 steps out of bounds. Come on, Amari. You dum-dum. And I think that's it for split games. 6 this week, which shows that there isn't much consensus. I didn't get to this off the top because I was sneaking Mo in there, and I guess it's a perfect segue to the next segment, but Lone Wolves, 13-6 this year. Usually not a good sign. Let's see if we've got some more winners coming up next. We got my Patriots Devil selection out of the way. So let's go to DP, who has the highest lone wolf amongst the 3 of us, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders -2 traveling to Tennessee. DP, I don't know if you said this in Discord or in our personal group chat, but you floated it out there that you were going to possibly take the Raiders in Survivor as well. Talk about this game.
I mean, we talked about, having one safe pick, one YOLO pick. So why not effing YOLO?
That's a YOLO. That is a hell of a YOLO.
I mean, if you're going to talk about, I guess, get right spots, bounce back, whatever the hell you want to call it, reasons for the coach to get on his team, that second half that the Raiders played last week was as bad as it comes. I mean, it can't be any worse. I expect them to really turn things around, really dial things up against a team in the Titans that I just don't think has really anything. Derrick Henry looks pretty pedestrian, which I'm guessing is just a factor of the fact, he's just run for 80,000 miles in his lifetime, and he just can't do it forever. That's just how it is. I'm pretty sure we all know what Ryan Tannehill is, and he's not that good. Couple that with the fact that he has no weapons to throw to out there whatsoever. Do the Raiders have a bad offensive line? Yeah, sure. I just don't think the Titans have what it takes to kind of get after Derek Carr. So I expect Carr, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow to just be able to move the sticks and ultimately punch the ball into the end zone and put up points. That's going to, on the other side, I don't think the Titans are going to be able to stay with them and be able to cover this number. I just don't see it. I think the Titans are just pretty bad overall. I thought that coming into the season. I'm sticking to that right now because I have seen nothing to prove me otherwise.
I think the Raiders stink too, though. I think these are 2 stinky teams in a stinky game with a stinky line where you just never, ever lay points on the road, Brett. That's my cap here. And if we're going to talk about football, if there was ever a week for Derrick Henry to get right, it's against this awful Las Vegas run defense.
I don't know what the Raiders do to deserve this glory from the market every single week. I know the Titans are bad, but what have the Raiders done? They gave away a game last week. The look ahead on this game was Titans -1.5, which, okay, yeah, I agree. The Titans stink, but this should be a pick. You can't lay points with the Raiders here. They're just too bad on defense. I agree that I think this is the Derrick Henry get right spot. I think the Titans might just run over the Raiders here.
We bluster a little bit here, but not a lot of conviction for you or I on this game. Nor Mo. Mo had the Titans 6 out of 15, getting no confidence points. DP, we slide a little bit further down where you are besmirching the rule of NFC East. I guess it's not that, again, to Brett's point before this segment, Circa, great job with the lines this week. You made it real tough, and this is a especially good version of that. Cowboys at Giants is a pick'em. That's a tough game. as it stands in the market, if you're getting plus points with the Cowboys, love it. If you can tease the Cowboys up to a touchdown, love it. But as a pick'em, it's tough. And DPA, I guess you're saying that the line shifted too much here. You got to take the home team at primetime.
So, two simple things here. One, I think this is a contest play. I think people are going to be kind of all over the Cowboys. And then I also think the better coaching staff belongs to the New York Giants. So, that's my cap here.
Better coach, better quarterback? Who you got, Brett? Something Cooper Rush or something Daniel Jones?
I'm still taking Daniel Jones.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I think you're right about the coaching staff, though. Daboll. The one thing that Daboll has done.
What's the ticket count on this one? Isn't the ticket count heavily in favor of the Cowboys?
I'm trying to pull it up on my second computer here. 60% are currently on Dallas, but I think this line movement is going to change that. I think you're going to get more of an even split in the contest. I don't think people are going to be running to take Cooper Rush as a pick'em on the road in prime time.
Well, that's the thing, like 60% on Dallas, but that was when it was like 2.5, then 1.5, then 1. Yeah,
exactly. Daboll, man, the thing he's done that's the most impressive to me, and this echoes back to McVay. First thing McVay did was hire Wade Phillips. He said, you know what? I need somebody in here who I can just hand this side of the ball off to, not think about it, get a master in here. And he did that with Wade. And he's done that every year since with defensive coordinator, right? Some of these guys have been promoted, gotten jobs. Staley with the Chargers. McVay always goes for great coordinators who can just do their job. What did Daboll do? He got an offensive coordinator that could call plays. I can focus on being a head coach, making sure that game day operations are tight, making sure that every small edge, which are so important in these football games, is met, and somebody else can just call the plays. Monday through Saturday, I can work with the OC. I can tell them packages and if there's any sort of dressing that we should be doing on some of these plays to lead some explosives later. Like, you can do that throughout the week. But on Sunday, you need to focus on the things that matter, and you can't be like Bill Belichick, like DP said, talking to your quarterback in a critical moment when you need to be dropping the red hanky. I say all of that, meanwhile, I click the Cowboys just because of rule of trenches? Brett, isn't this kind of trenches? Like, who's...
Oh yeah.
Who's blocking these guys? And then who's getting home for this Giants defensive line that's now going to be without Leonard Williams, it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys get after the quarterback. They generate pressure without blitzing. And the Giants have not protected Daniel Jones so far this season. Third highest pressure rate allowed in the league. And we know what happens to Dimes when that pocket is collapsing around him. I don't like this spot at all for the Giants against this Cowboys team. I think the Cowboys should be favored here.
We move over to Brett, who I don't know if you're surprised or not, but I just think it's hilarious that you are a lone wolf.
The Bills make me wanna shout.
Whoa. I mean,
there's a team I hate backing more than Buffalo, it's the Dolphins, though.
Mark this day in time. Holy hell.
They, of course, are traveling here to Miami to take on
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
What's the vibe in Miami? What is the vibe down there on the Dolphins? Do people care yet?
Dude, it's
because they probably should.
Salsa dancing in the street. What are you talking about?
Friggin'
yeah, market for sure. Sorry, but they are for sure. Look at that catch. Let's go.
Yeah, no. They are sipping cafecito. They're enjoying their pastelitos. They're going to the beach. They do not care about the Miami Dolphins.
Do they have to go 17-0, 18-0 for people to care again?
Was that Njoku? Let's go, the Njoku game. Need it for
Finally.
DFA.
Yeah, after we quit that stupid league that we were in, and Njoku was hurt every single week. Brett,
this is a lot of points for a team. Well, I won't give away my cap, but go ahead. Whoa, look at Brett's starting to swagger a little bit over there.
I said 10 was a lot of points last week, and it probably should have been 20. I don't know. The Dolphins haven't faced a real defense yet. And this Bills unit is legit. Von Miller is a wrecking ball. We haven't I mean, we haven't had a pass rusher in like 30 years. So this is new to me. This is fun. Secondary concern for sure with these injuries, but we talked about it all preseason. Like, what is this Dolphins offensive line? And the Bills are finally able to generate pressure without having to blitz. So that's my cap. Is I think the Bills are going to be able to get to Tua and not allow him to make some of the plays that he made last week with these weapons. And
so I'm gonna pair it what you said with regard to the Chargers. And I don't think the Bills defense is going to be that good this week. I mean, who are these corners? Something Benford? Something
He was actually
Elam?
pretty good last week.
Against whom? Did he have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle running stick knot at 4.4 right in his face?
I mean, that's my cap, though, is like Tua's not going to have time to make those throws.
But he's got the quickest snap to release in the NFL. And you know why? I'm going to admit it right now. I don't want to say I was wrong. I was just skeptical. I was just sitting on the fence. Mike McDaniel's a good coach. Mike McDaniel looked at the Ravens defense last week and said, hey, Patrick Queen is the worst coverage linebacker in the NFL. Let's throw at him every single play. And he did that. Ravens brought pressure. Ravens blitzed. Did the Dolphins offensive line hold up? Kind of, but it was scheme that got the ball out. Got the ball to their weapons. 60% target share for Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Get the ball to your amazing players. Why can't the Dolphins win this game outright? That's what I want to know. I love the fish this week. And a very important question. Very important question. Josh Allen, known to frequent one of your favorite watering holes, Bar Bill, in Buffalo, enjoy some spirits, have some wings. Miami flu. Is that a worry?
No.
For Josh Allen?
No.
No,
you don't think South Beach flu is
Buffalo wings down there? What are you talking about?
No, this
season.
This season is too important, man. I really don't think they're gonna partake in any.
I think
of that
Josh Allen cares
nonsense.
about cafecitas and stuff like that. Like, no, he doesn't care. Like, he's just.
I don't know. Live on a Saturday night, man. It'll get the best of you. DP, you too love the Dolphins. Talk about it.
Well, I mean, it starts with the way that this Dolphins team sets up on offense, and then it carries over to what the Bills have or plan to have trotting out on defense. I just think it's going to be too much for them to handle. Not that the Bills can't win this game, because I certainly think they can win this game. The Bills aren't a wagon out there. But, I mean, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, like the way that McDaniel has this offense going, has them operating. Rich, you mentioned it, just get the ball out quick, get the ball out quick, get the ball out quick. He's for sure coaching to Tua's strengths, which is a really good thing, and overall the offense's strengths, which I think are just going to play a big problem for the Buffalo Bills here, overall. So I don't know. I expect this one to have kind of a ton of points in it overall, because I think the Bills can certainly put up their fair share of points, but Miami can do the same. I think Miami's, their path to covering is open kind of multiple ways. One, this game is just close because these teams are more even than we thought. Fine. Two, Miami can get a backdoor easily with the weapons that they have. I mean, sure, we've seen, look at last week, what the Ravens did to them. They came back. They did it anyway. And then I also think that the Miami Dolphins could be ahead here and the Bills could be the ones playing from behind. So, I don't know. 5.5 points feels a couple points too many in this spot. I mean, maybe I'm just entirely wrong. I'm certainly willing to change my tune on the Miami Dolphins this early in the season. I was kind of with Rich, straddling that fence there a little bit, but I think McDaniel has shown me a lot of things that I'm willing to buy in, and I'm buying in here pretty heavily.
And by the way, this could all be wrong because the Bills could legitimately be the best team since the 07 Pats. Like, that's also within the range of outcomes. I'm not even being funny or facetious. Like, this team could just be that good. And
based on what we've seen so far, yeah.
And what you said about the ability to get to the quarterback with Von Miller, that could be true too. And you know what that does? That masks deficiencies at cornerback. And how terrifying is this team going to be with Trey White?
I know.
Come on, man. But like you said, this isn't the Chargers. This isn't the Bills. This isn't the Bills at full strength.
Tackle. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Just letting Trubisky escape pockets. Another game where the Browns are just in a sneaky shootout, I guess.
Well, they missed that extra point, too.
Yeah, something York.
It's just unbelievable.
Mo's 2 lone wolves. He's got one in his top 5. And it is a puzzler to me. It is the Chicago Bears. Again, if we're going to go Devil Sides, I don't know why he didn't go all in on Devil Sides. Because his other lone wolf, I'll just bring it up now, is the Chiefs. So he goes ultra chalk with the Ravens and the Chiefs. And then goes ultra devil with some of these sides, including the Bears. I mean, this is rule of never never put an X next to the Bears when there's a minus. Like, that's it. That's the cap.
I mean, I guess you're kind of selling high on the Texans, which is hilarious because
didn't fall on that fumble. Yet.
Fumble luck?
Didn't fall on that fumble.
There were 5 Browns there. How did they not get that?
That's what I mean. Didn't fall on that fumble.
So there's some rain predicted for this game. I think I saw 38%. Another slop fest at Soldier Field. I'm not sure the turf has been fixed since week 1. Who does that even favor? I guess the Bears. I think they have a slight advantage, but
the Bears.
Just
because Titans defense is so bad. They've missed 27 tackles already. And granted, they played Jonathan Taylor and Javonte Williams. That's tough.
Well, I mean, Montgomery. What is Montgomery taking? How much HGH has this guy shoved down his gullet in his contract year? That guy looks spry against the Packers. And the calling card against Montgomery has always been that he's kind of a ham and egger. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe Mo's got a beat on that. Maybe Mo's got a source within Chicago. That was just a puzzling pick. And then, Chiefs Colts. You know what the I in Indy stands for this week? Stands for Loom. Every single person is going to find a way to fit the Chiefs into a parlay or a teaser or Survivor. This never ends well, Brett. It never ends well.
What is Mo doing here? I'm surprised by this pick for Mo. The reason we had the Jags on the card last week was because they weren't facing the real Indianapolis Colts. They had injuries galore across every position, seemed like, on the roster. But this week is different. DeForest Buckner back in practice Thursday. Shaq Leonard, Alec Pierce, full practice. The big one, Michael Pittman, limited practice. Looks like he's trending towards playing. I mean, just get the ball in Jonathan Taylor's hands, control the clock,
even
keep
something
the ball
Pierce,
away from the homes.
I know Pierce might not be able to catch a football, but full participant so far this week.
Yeah, so I just feel like this is a good spot to buy back on Indy.
Look ahead of 3. I mean, the only reason this sky's up is because, the Colts take a dump without their players. So, Donnie, what are your thoughts here? Chiefs, Colts. I mean, I will say for one thing, for Survivor, we are going to be the biggest Colts support, hopefully, if we have a damn entry remaining. We're going to be the biggest Colts supporters on the planet on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, this is the alum special of maybe the season. I mean, come on. I mean, just a great spot for the Colts overall. And why can't we just get super sleepy Chiefs, do some dumb stuff, Colts get some players back and find a way? I mean, it's certainly possible. And I don't know about the Bears. I mean, that team looks... I mean, I picked the Texans based pretty much on professional pride. I mean, they look like a team that actually tries to care out there. The Bears, I have no idea what the hell they're doing out there. I mean,
thank you. I'm glad you brought up this point. One of these teams plays modern football, the other team doesn't. Like the Bears have how many pass attempts do they have? He's down. Knee is down.
I mean, what
I think they have half as many as Joe Flacco threw in one game.
They had 11 last week. They were down 2 touchdowns the whole game.
Yeah, so give me the team
that's why the NFL stinks. Is that Mitch Trubisky, that DB would normally drill Mitch Trubisky, but because he's a QB, he didn't. He jumped over him.
Fix it, Goodell. The Lone Wolves. I'm on the Pats. Loom special. Brett's got the Bills and Saints. DP's got the Raiders and Giants. Mo is on the Bears and Chiefs. Strap in. It's time for the card.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
I once again lead the way, and I will bring us our first consensus pick of the week. And it is a game that some of you, when I say it, you might puke in your mouth a little bit. You might be like, really? That team with that coach who has no idea what he's doing? But this is an absolutely dream spot for Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, and the Denver Broncos against the San Francisco 49ers. I faded the Niners week 1 with my card pick. Got that right. I laid the 8.5 with the Niners last week. Got that right. This one moves from Denver -3 to Denver plus 1.5, mainly because of, I would think, the struggles there in Denver. Obviously, part of it is the quarterback change in San Francisco. We've seen futures markets react positively to the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo is now under center for San Fran. That makes sense to me. But this is just way too big of a move for two teams that, Brett, I'll have to ask you specifically. I think these two teams are going to be power ranked very similarly. And I'll keep saying this. We need to pump the brakes on Jimmy G. This is still a bad quarterback on the road in a tough environment in prime time. Give me the points. Give me the leverage while everyone lines up to fade Denver. Brett, where are these at in the power rankings?
They were pretty close for me.
That's what I mean.
Some people rank the 49ers pretty high. And like the narrative right now is like, oh, the 49ers are better with Jimmy G. And I agree, but not that much better.
Yes, exactly.
Minimally better with Jimmy G, probably. They're not worse.
People are getting their Ayuk stacks ready. Like, I guess it's a Sunday Island game. I really want. Let's calm down. This is saying that, that Niners would be -3.5 on neutral, -5.5 in San Francisco. I'm not going to stand for it. DP, where were you at on this game?
In the middle.
You were in the middle. Are you worried?
I mean, I'm worried a little bit that, the Broncos could just stink again. But over the last week, is there more stock high, stock low in the NFL? I mean, there's hit pieces left and right on Russell Wilson. Everyone's crapping on Nathaniel Hackett. And everyone on the other side is like, this is what the 49ers need. Jimmy G's the greatest thing coming, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just nonstop. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, come on. I mean, the Broncos, we're overall not that high on them on this podcast, but they're at home. Tough place to play. They can still get the job done. Jimmy G is not the most amazing quarterback in the world, and he can certainly suck it up and turtle at times. I mean, come on. And Russ, I mean, listen, we all kind of just laugh at Russ, but he could still be a gamer. Like, come on, he can get the job done. Like, this feels like a great spot to, I mean, if you're going to take the Broncos, you just take the money line, in my opinion. I mean, let's go. Yeah, I mean, I would say play the sounder like you just did, but it's like, it's only 1.5. It's not that crazy. I'm not like Brett out here going crazy with the Jaguars, but
it's still plus money.
It's a good spot, man. This is a great spot.
Yeah, this is just, it's stock high, stock low. Everyone is watching the Russell Wilson pass, run meme and wants to fade him. And this is the NFL. These two teams are way closer than this line is telling us. And yeah, I absolutely love Denver in this spot. Brett, you're up next. You've got a split contest.
Yeah, I got the Jags.
The suspense was killing me, even though I was staring right at Jaguars.
It's funny. We did our power rankings.
How are you feeling?
Scary.
Market.
I mean,
you did your power rankings, Brett?
Yeah, we did our power rankings early this week, and I had Jags at like 21. And a bunch of writers at the Lions had them in mid-20s. And Mo hopped online and immediately just went on a rant. He's like, you guys are all idiots. How do you have the Jags this low? So I took a deep dive and I watched both their games again. And man, these edge rushers they're incredible. I mean, Walker and Allen.
I'm going to give you a piece of advice, Brett. The best thing that you can do for the Lions, and you might already do this, is you need to do a live show sharing everyone's power rankings through Discord, and just have the Discord of people like Mo just yelling at everyone. It'd just be great. It would be insane content. So good.
I've actually pitched this that we should have a post power rankings release Discord
reveal show. It'd be so good.
I would enjoy that. To take it even a point further, I think people should just submit betting slips for Mo to review. They could be winners. They could be pending. Mo will just shred people.
This is the Njoku.
Ask Mo at thelines.com.
Dude, is Njoku going to have 200 yards?
Did I start in my fantasy? Crap.
DFA rising from the dead. Let's go. DP, sorry to call an audible, but your top pick was sniped by the collective. Once again, every week you and Mo have had your... Fine. Wow, so much confidence in this team. I'm so worried. Who do we have?
Who do we have? Oh, we have the Dolphins.
No. Oh my God. I just told you your top pick was sniped.
Oh, but then you said, who do we have? And I got really confused because my internet cut out for a little bit. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess I have to play. I'll just play it then.
The collective chooses the Miami Dolphins.
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
The greatest.
I mean, it's okay because we started off the show with Mo's pick. We threw the Survivor.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
It's fine. So, do you have my number 2 or my number 3 is my pick?
Your number 2.
Jets, your team. That's right.
This is contest play AF.
Terrifying. I feel like this is kind of DP's bias creeping into the fact that he laid with the Bengals last week and is now going against them.
Oh Lord.
You got to be quick to right your wrongs. I mean, that's just how it is in life. You can't be stubborn. What does ODB always say? You guys are too stubborn.
Rule of 2. How's ODB doing this year?
Not I think he's 5-5 across all of his entries, but yeah.
How's he doing in Survivor?
I'm pretty sure he's out. But he joined, Brett and Mo over there.
Yeah, just piling, not only piling Bengals, just pissing away $1 million in potential equity.
They should have won by 30 in that game.
They should have won. That was brutal.
I mean, what's funny is that, you say that this is my bias of the Bengals last week. I told you guys in week 1 I was worried about the Bengals. I told you that.
And you even said it last week. Or no, you said it on Sunday that you were mad at yourself.
Yeah, I was mad at myself because I didn't stick with my priors.
It's too early. It's too early to split too harshly. And of course, as we started the show, I'm by the way, I'm ODB. I'm busting your balls, by the way. I've had mine twisted on many occasions thanks to Tom Brady and many other bad takes. As we started the show, Mo is on the Ravens, -2.5 in New England. I think we're going to be hanging out with around 1,200 of our closest friends on that.
Yeah, that one's going to be popular. I mean, I can't say anything. I had it. It's my number 2 pick on my entire card.
Gross.
So I'm right there with him.
Believe in a loom. This is an Illume week. This is going to be, people are going to be Monday morning. What is this league? What's going on in this league? How did the Chiefs lose? How did this happen? Illume's coming.
Could you imagine the Patriots starting 2-1 after everything that was said about them? Largely coming from me. I mean,
it's Belichick. Why would you be so surprised?
If the Patriots win this game, it's not because of Belichick. It's because
how
the Ravens
does your
crap
Lord and
the
Savior
bed.
have to turn water into... How many times does your Lord and Savior have to change water into wine for you to believe? How did the Browns lose this game, by the way?
This is unreal.
We are, as we already...
Somehow...
They're just marching.
Somehow they...
Every time they touch the Duke.
Yeah, but then if
they're
you see
marching.
the other side, the Steelers' offensive line looks like the greatest Cowboys offensive line ever. Like, the Steelers' offensive line is a joke, and they're going against the Browns, and they just look like the best thing ever, marching down the field.
All right, we absolutely need the Browns to win this game. The collective has the Dolphins. I've got the Broncos. Brett has the Jags. DP's got the Jets. Mo's got the Ravens. Some good quarterbacks here, guys. I'm a bit worried.
Not our usual MO.
What else we got? That's elite.
Is Tua good? No.
Tua, Trevor. We got all the pedigree. We got a lot of stars.
Yeah.
Littered with 5 stars. And that's the show. Follow these guys on Twitter. I'm not missing anything, right? This feels like a quickie. I guess
Did we?
No Mo.
We said who we're taking Survivor? Are we going Chargers?
We're leaning likely Chargers, but
Oh.
we have until Saturday at 4:00. Okay. So,
rule of where were you at on these guys? I should bring this game up because it was in everybody's top 5 but me, but it was a consensus pick, and that was the Commanders plus 6.5 against the Eagles, who definitely make the sound. Another Illume spot. You just have to click the Commanders in this spot, Brett.
Yeah, look, I am fully on board the Eagles train. This is the best team in the NFC, like you said. It might be by quite a big margin. That said, this is a divisional game, rule of NFC East, against a team that has shown the ability to march the ball up and down the field. Washington, 10th in offense, EPA. They scored 55 points in 2 weeks. Yeah, I was against the Jags and the Lions, but I don't know. Carson has a bunch of weapons. The offensive line's given him time to make quality throws in the pocket. He's only been pressured on 18% of his dropbacks. And on the other side, it's a run-heavy offense with Jalen Hurts. Like, I don't know how you can lay 6.5 with this team on the road against a division opponent that knows the Eagles very well.
DP, you did the damn thing too. Commanders in your top 5. Pile on, and then we'll get out of here.
I'm with Brett. This game feels like Eagles-Lions, where the Lions kind of stink, but they got enough on offense to be able to keep this one close. Backdoor, keep it close, score with the Eagles, whatever it may be. I mean, they can put up points, right? I mean, come on. They put up points every week.
Nathaniel Hackett, I hope you're watching. Stefanski immediately burns one. We got 2 remaining. We can think about it here. Are we going for it on 4th or 2, or are we kicking? This is how you do it, kiddo. We got to go for it. They literally can't stop us. Come on. Let's get a first here and get a dub. Follow these guys at Brett Colson, COLLSON, at Donnie_Peters. And even though he preferred to play in a bird over talk to us about football, follow at Mo Nuwwarah and UWWARAH. Brett, aren't you his boss? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, we're going to have to add some hours to his day tomorrow.
He didn't even update us on the tournament. I mean, I have action. He just gave us his pick and left. What is this play? Jesus.
Some Eskimo Clark going on here. Who knows if he even entered? Did you get a receipt?
No, Mo doesn't send receipts. Mo just sends...
Oh, wow.
What? Mo just sends in,
no, he doesn't send receipts.
He sends messages that say, you're welcome for letting you buy action of me. Like, stuff like that. I'm just like, you know what? Can you just win a tournament already? You're driving me nuts.
Oh, man. All right. And, of course, follow the Lines US on all their channels. Subscribe to the Lines US YouTube page. Check out all their stuff. First thing I do literally every week is I read Mo's Survivor column on the Lines. I also watch the Survivor YouTube show. Literally, whenever I rock Theo to sleep, as soon as it comes out, I'm watching it on my phone as the little guy's going to sleep. So check those out. Best of luck to us. Best of luck to you in your betting ventures. We'll chat to you for the recap on Sunday night. Until then, peace out.